Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for coming to the Manitoba Legislature today to hear a very important story. I'm very pleased today to have the concerned citizens of Grosse here in attendance to share their personal experiences of what's happening in their community with a hog barn operation that is having very negative impacts on the quality of their life in rural Manitoba. I'm going to quickly introduce the spokespersons and their supporters here. The first person to speak will be Bill Massey. Following him will be Maureen. And they're joined by Ellen and Walter, supporters of the cause. So with no further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Bill Massey to explain to all of us what's been going on in their community for quite a number of years now. Bill.
Well, good morning. It's really good to be here, and thank you for being here on this very cold winter morning. My name's Bill Massey, and I'm representing the concerned citizens of Grosse here. Our group was formed in 2004 to oppose hog operation at Rock Lake Colony. In March of 2005, the colony notified the community they were going to maintain their operation of the current 999 animal units and replace existing facilities. The municipality of Woodlands gave them a building permit for a barn of 80,000 square feet, which was we calculated to be about 40% bigger than what was required. When we questioned them on this, they said they would respect the limit of 889 animal units. The odor from the barn was extreme in the fall of 2007. We launched a complaint to the Farm Practices Protection Board, and they discovered the population in the barn to be 1,437 animal units. The rural municipality of Woodlands, who is responsible for enforcing the Planning Act, it took a year and a half for them to get the colony to comply. Again, because of the smell, we asked the RMs of Rockwood and Rosser for their support, and in the fall of 2012, the RM of Woodlands had a count conducted and found the colony to be considerably over, and compliance was again achieved in March of 2013. In the fall of 2014, an investigation on a different matter by the Farm Industry Board revealed that the operation had 1,125 animal units. In spite of this information, the RM of Woodlands has refused to count the herd again. The RMs of Rosser and Rockwood have been very supportive and even tried to broker an agreement with the colony on our behalf with no success. The municipality insists that the colony has been in compliance since 2013. This is even with the report from the Farm Industry Board that they were over in 2014. We know that they're over by the extreme odor from the barn, and we believe that the RM of Woodlands is getting their information from the manure management plan, which has to be submitted to the province twice yearly. We believe that the colony is falsifying the information on the manure management plan, and there are no penalties for people that falsify manure management plans. And we think this has been going on for probably the past 5 years. Part of the manure management plan is taking measurement of nutrient levels in the fields and spreading manure accordingly. If what we suspect is true, then where is that manure going? We need to be concerned, and not only for the smell, but also for surface water pollution and possible contamination of our aquifer. Our petition requires that Woodlands do a count of the animals in this operation as soon as possible, and that the colony be made to achieve compliance as soon as possible. We want the RM of Woodlands to cover all costs for immediate testing of all private wells adjacent to the operation. And we want the RMs of Rockwood, Rosser, and Woodlands to request the province to do monthly air quality testing and conduct a full environmental audit on the Rock Lake operation to determine the level of phosphorus and nitrates in the spreading fields. We also want the colony to install wells around the manure storage facility, because that facility is about 19 years old, and generally the lifespan of those structures is 20 years. On Monday, February 4th at 7 p.m., there will be a public meeting at the Grosse Hall. Anyone interested in this is welcome to attend. I certainly hope that people from the colony will come to this, because I believe that probably the majority of the colony members do not know what is going on. On February 12th at 10:20 a.m., we will be meeting with the Council of Woodlands to request a count of the hogs in the operation. Once that has been accomplished, then the rest will follow. I want to turn things over to my co-spokesperson, Maureen Mitchell here.
Half a coat. I'll just talk without notes, but I moved into the area about 2004, and I've been watching this on the outside, developing, and it almost feels like we're in a toned-down version of the Aaron Brockovich movie, because there's so much there that is obviously the truth. There's so much in the way of facts that this man, after 15 years of being very, very engaged in perseverance to an unlimited degree, he's a walking encyclopedia of information. And when you listen to him, you become absolutely convinced. And then when you become convinced, you become angry. So here's the diplomacy of it. We, the concerned citizens, and myself personally, can't understand for the life of me how you cannot have full disclosure of information that should be readily available to the citizens that live in Grosse. How you cannot be allowed to see the truth, how you cannot be allowed to engage in an actual discussion and to find full revelation of what is there in fact and matter, because what are we doing? We are trying to protect what is natural right, and the natural right to quality of life, the air, the soil, the water should be just something that we all breathe and live and expect. It's not a high expectation. We're not bleeding hearts, we're not activists. We're trying to live the quality of life that we thought we should have. And so from my view, and it may be stepping outside my boundaries a little bit, but you see a manipulation going on, and you see contriving going on, you see a very deliberate path to distort what is obviously information that has clearly been proven but not justified yet. And the justification, if there are real numbers in play, if the hog operation is what it is, if the municipality is doing what it's supposed to be doing in its everyday stewardship, then why not talk about it? Why not disclose it? Why not have the facts and figures? Why not make it readily available for all of us to make an assessment and judgment? So I can't see what we're doing. We're not being irrational. We're not being illogical. We're being sensible, and we're being sensitive to the environment and to what the citizens and we, within our rights, should expect. Nothing more, nothing less. And I can go on and on supporting Bill and the efforts he's made, and if you were to look deep into the chronological series of events and facts, you would walk away with your head shaking, because my head is shaking. And I'm disappointed, and I'm in despair, because if the government and the municipalities aren't there as stewards to protect citizens and the very environment we share in this province, then what are we doing to ourselves? It can't all be about monetary gain and profits. It can never be about that. So have the courage to step forward, municipality and hog operation, and do what's right. Disclose. Share that information.
So whereabouts do both of you live in relation to the colony?
I am a little under a mile from the barn itself. There are 11 residents in that position. I'm going to say 4 are in the municipality of Woodlands. The rest of us are in the municipalities of Rockwood and Grosse. That's part of the problem, because the barn is located in the southeast corner of the municipality, and because of the prevailing winds, the people who are most affected by the barn do not live in the municipality, even though some of us are within the mile of the barn. And therefore, we don't have a lot of political influence on the RM of Woodlands, because we don't vote. Now we've just had a new Reeve elected in the RM of Woodlands, and we're hopeful that we will meet some success when we go to see them.
You live in which municipality again?
I'm in Rockwood.
In Rockwood, yes.
And how far from the barn?
I would say I guess it'd be about 2 miles, a little over 2 miles.
It'd be within 2 miles.
Yeah.
It'd be within 2 miles, yeah.
And what I always find interesting, Bill, is where the location of that hog operation is in proximity to the community of Grosse Isle.
Yeah, Grosse Isle is perhaps a mile and a half from the hog barn. I'm going to say there's 100 residents there. There might be more. And every summer we get the Prairie Dog Central comes to Grosse Isle, and we have 10,000 visitors every summer. Sometimes the winds are in the wrong direction. They get to
And what about
experience
that
it too.
conservation area?
Well, there's the Grants Lake Conservation Area, which is within a mile of the storage facility. And we have big concerns that the amount of nutrients that are being put on these fields, and sometimes put on the fields when they shouldn't be, when it's very wet or it's raining, and they're being washed into the ditches and so forth, and they're ending up in the some of it is ending up in the Grants Lake Preserve. The two creeks, the two watersheds that they drain into are Sturgeon Creek and Oldman's Creek, and of course we know those drain into the Assiniboine and eventually into Lake Winnipeg.
Concerned citizens is how many people?
I signed up another couple of members last night, where there's about 14 of us in the committee, and but we have a lot of support in the community. There's a lot of concern in the community. I was at a public meeting, hall board meeting last night, and I got lots of support and lots of the signatures on our petition.
So who you're looking for action from? The municipality that the barn is located in, and the province, if the province in what respect?
Well, maybe I could say this. I presented at the standing committee hearings on Bill 19, which was changes to the Planning Act. And what we are suggesting the province needs to do is take enforcement out of the hands of municipalities and put it into the hands of conservation, and to add some teeth to the legislation. Because what happens now, you see, the enforcement of the Planning Act is discretionary, which means the municipality doesn't have to enforce the Planning Act, which leaves groups like ours with absolutely no recourse. So we need the laws tightened up here. I think we need to take it out of the municipal hands, put it into the governmental hands, and we need some recourse for citizens, such as ourselves, to be able to deal with these problems without having the only avenue we have now is through the media. And that's great that we can do that. It's a free country, and we're very fortunate to live in a country that we can stand here and talk like this in our legislature. But we shouldn't have to do this. The other thing is that this operation is giving a black eye to the hog industry in Manitoba, and it's not doing anything for the reputation of the municipality of Woodlands either. And I think most people that are involved in the hog industry, we're rural people. We support agriculture.
Absolutely.
And I suspect that most people in the hog industry are not wanting one of their members to be carrying on in this way, because it gives everybody a black eye. And that's unfortunate.
And where have you had the support so far, Bill, from the hog industry?
I've had discussions with the Port Council, and I know that they are concerned and they are aware of what's going on. I've met with our MLA, Mr. Eichler, who's also the Minister of Agriculture. He suggested to the municipalities that they should go back to Woodlands, like the municipalities of Rockwood and Ross, go back to Woodlands and ask again for a count, which they did, which did not achieve any results. So here we are. This is what we feel is our next step.
It seems so simple. You want a count, a simple count that would settle the matter in so many different ways, but there seems to be such a way way to circumvent that very one request?
Who would do the count?
We are asking for an impartial individual who is qualified to do a count. We want someone who is going to go in there and make an honest account of the animals for us.
And their legal limit is $9.99.
Their legal limit is $8.89 at the moment, although that is in question too. But the municipality will allow them 10% over, and that seems to be the standard, which would be 970 animal units. But we've seen them at 1437, we've seen them at 1125, we've seen them at, I'm not sure of the numbers after the Woodland, after the RM conducted the count, because they wouldn't release them to us, but I believe they were in excess of 1250.
By animal units, you mean numbers of animals at any one time there, or just
Yes,
something else?
an animal unit is actually a measure of manure, and in this case, in a farrow to finish operation, 1.25, a sow and all her offspring to market weight is 1.25 animal units. So when we talk about 970 animal units, we're probably talking, I'm just guessing here because it varies depending on the size of the animals as to the amount of manure that's produced. It would probably be somewhere between 15,000 and 20,000 animals. And
Per year, you mean? Or?
in a year, that's correct. And in any one time in the barn,
Farrow to finish.
farrow to finish. That's breeding that's having the sows bred there, raising the piglets up to market weight, which is probably about 220 pounds, if I remember correctly. We used to be pig farmers back in the day, and I still raise a few. I still raise a few pigs, mainly for food for my family. But
You're a retired farmer?
I'm
Semi-retired?
I'm a retired elementary school principal, and I've farmed all my life, and I farm 30 acres at Grosse, and I have a mixed farm, and I have sheep and chickens and a few pigs every summer, so that's me.
If I may just say my 2 cents in this, first of all, to thank Maureen and Bill and all of their supporters for, braving cold temperatures today to come down and tell this story directly. I think it's quite clear that there's 2 problems here from the provincial perspective. One is that laws that were on the books, most notably the Planning Act, have been greatly weakened, and the laws that remain are not even being enforced. Neither of those situations are acceptable. I mean, imagine wherever you live in this province, if you were in a situation like this, where the moment you walked out your door, the smell in the air was such that made you want to go back inside, and you don't know if your water is safe, and you don't know if the local wilderness area is going to be protected. That's just not acceptable. And when concerned citizens step forward with these legitimate concerns, governments at every level need to take them seriously, and they need to act accordingly. So I really hope the presentation you will make to your local council is successful, and I hope the Pallister government reconsiders mistakes they've already made, and at the very least they start enforcing laws that are already on the books, which currently they are ignoring. And there's no diplomatic way to put that. That's quite clearly the truth of what's going on here. So hopefully that will change.
Maureen, it's
further questions? Yeah.
With an S on the end?
With an S.
M-I-T-C-H-E-L-L-S. Bill, it's M-A-S-S-E-Y?
Correct.
Okay.